Good.
We've been in a relationship for 4 years and lived together. It's the first serious relationship for both of us, and although it hasn't always been easy, we've never had any significant problems. We're on the same page on most topics: racism, politics, finances, etc. Or so I thought, at least. Now, with all these issues going on, we're talking about race a bit more than usual. For the record, I'm biracial, but I have what most consider Eurocentric features, so a lot of times people can't really tell where I'm from. Fast forward a few days ago. We were watching 12 Years a Slave, and I made some comments about how horrible slavery was. That's when he dropped the bomb that I actually shouldn't criticize slavery at all, since I look white enough that I would have benefited from the system. Honestly, it felt like he wanted to say that for a long time. I asked him what the F he meant by that, and he said that me complaining about racism belittles the experience of black people. I told him that I wouldn't have benefited from slavery at all, since I'm literally 50% black despite my looks. He said that even if I didn't directly benefit, I would have lived a comfortable life in that era. I asked how, and he said that slave owners kept mixed women as mistresses, so I would have spent most of my time being treated well and, quote, popping out white babies. He made it sound like it was a complete luxury. At this point, I was so appalled that I called him an ignorant idiot, and we started arguing. He said that I'm just an exotic looking white girl who's trying to feel oppressed, and that I'm just as privileged as him. I told him that he really has no idea what he's talking about, and then he started ignoring me. We haven't spoken for a few days, although he tried to initiate intercourse a few times and seems to be warming up to me again, and I really don't know what to do. He's never said something so ridiculous. I'm just so angry at his stupid comments and immaturity.
Okay, since everybody quiet, I'll go first.
I'm being nice.
I'm really trying here.
I'll go first. First of all, let's make this perfectly clear so everybody would know where I'm coming from, so we will never ever have this discussion ever again. Okay? You cannot put a good spin on slavery. Period. There is no good spin about it. I don't care what race you are, creed, or religion. There is not a good spin on slavery. That's like trying to put a good fucking spin on the Holocaust. There is zero. There is none. There is nada. Either you benefited from slavery or you was oppressed from slavery. That's it. There's no middle ground. It's not black and white. There's no nuances. There is none of that stuff. Either you benefited or you was torn down from it. That's it. Number two, young man, you are a blithering moron when you have no idea what the hell you talking about, because it has been said 50 million times, one drop of black blood makes you black. They have said that. Not us. They have said that. One drop of black blood makes you black. This woman is 50%. Number three, and I don't even know what you were thinking when you said this. You would have been just sitting up there in a lap of luxury popping out white babies. Like, this sounds like you was just in a, I don't even know what the hell kind of messed
Fantasy.
up, backwards, racist piece of garbage mentality was that statement. I don't know what to do with this dude.
Oh, I know what to do with him.
You need to get the hell up out of Dodge.
Get out.
Leave. You need to get up out of here.
Leave that fool right where he at, because he gonna make somebody act like one.
He is.
I mean, boy, I'm out of my character, but I'm
comfortable saying that to you. He gonna wind up being comfortable to say that to somebody else.
He gonna say that
to gonna be, no, I'm warming back. He warming back up to me.
I'd have packed my bags and been like, I'm out. I see you later. Adios. However else you say, sayonara, goodbye. See, don't call me, don't text me. Lose my number. You make America great again, supporter. Shut up. I wouldn't tell him nothing. I would be gone. I'm gone. I don't got nothing listening to you. No, I'm leaving. Let him be stuck with that lease. And how does he know she can pass? Sure, she may look white, but like Marlon said, she's a black woman. And I wish somebody would do this. I wish. He's gonna mess around and he's gonna find out.
And Paul can sit there talking about this story is made up.
This one, unfortunately, I think might be true.
Oh, I'm going with this one being real.
I think this one is real.
This is no more than that dude got real comfortable.
Because to him, she looked white enough, so it wasn't like he was dating somebody like my skin shade.
Oh, by the way, dude, I really appreciate it. I'm so glad that you actually understand that you were privileged. I appreciate that you flat out said you have the same amount of privilege as I did. So,
yeah, thank you.
Appreciate that you understand that you were privileged.
Does he want her to call him master all the time, or what is he? How is she supposed to?
No, because what he is trying to say is, even though I know you 50% white, 50% black, you look white enough that you got the same stuff as white people. So you try to play the victim of being black people, which that's why I said you're a freaking bigot and a racist, because you figure anybody that's black is playing the victim. So
romanticizing rape.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. He gonna mess around. He gonna say it to the wrong black person. Hey.
Diaz, you got 5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll give you 20.
All right, so first of all, straight up, I don't think the story is 100% accurate. It may be embellished a bit, I would say. But I think people are kind of looking at it a different kind. I look at it a different kind of way. First of all, I don't feel no kind of sorry for her. I just don't. Because at the end of the story, it was not I left him. It was we trying to work this shit out. So this person just basically expressed to you how he views not just slavery, but women, right? Because he kind of equated you to being a bed wench, right? So you got that part of it. So you chose Chad, and Chad is being Chad. I can't really feel for you too much. You know what I mean? So because you don't have no respect for yourself and your blood. So why should I care? So, do your thing, whatever. And then if he's saying that she would have benefited and just been a concubine or a house slave or whatever because of her ability to quote unquote pass, in a way, that is a true statement. It's just a fucked up statement. You know what I'm saying? So you're basically saying out of all the prisoners, you would have had the best conditions at the prison.
Yeah, you would still been in prison. You would still, don't get it wrong, you still in prison, but you would have been at the top.
Right. You would have been like, you would have got to work in the kitchen, and maybe you would have got to come to the warden's office. You know what I mean? Like, that's how he kind of presented it. So I'm like, she didn't check it, So and then kind of pivot, just to kind of the one part of what he was saying that does translate. You got to understand, when people are being an asshole towards you, a lot of times they will use some facts up in there, right? So what he was trying to convey in a messed up way is that he can't see how she can relate to the Black experience, because in his eyes,
she's white.
She got an exception.
Yeah.
Right? So slavery was just a messed up backdrop to the conversation, but bring it into the present. And what he's basically saying is, as bad as we might think Black people have it, you can't relate to that because nothing in your lived experience would have subjected you to what people like you actually have to deal with. That's in the present moment, right? So I think it's too easy to get spun up on how someone perceives slavery, because in the manner of speaking, none of us are actually taught about it. So you're dealing with a group of people, aka white folk, who, if they haven't done studies on it, they haven't delved into it, they truly do not understand it. They have the same level of education about slavery that you have about slavery, minus what you've learned through family and self-study. So he will say ignorant things. That's one of the reasons why I think a lot of times white people and black people have such a hard time really getting real on a conversation, because the white person is scared of saying the wrong thing, and the black person is waiting for you to say the wrong thing. So
I don't think she was waiting on him to say the wrong thing.
I'm not saying that. I had kind of pivoted off of that. But what I'm saying, though, in her particular case, remember how she started the story. We agree on most things, including politics and race. And then she said, on this, it departed. So what are your views on race, ma'am? What kind of conversations have you had, ma'am? Is it that he is a faux liberal who focuses on the not in my backyard mentality, where I want better for these poor, humbled masses just not to have all that I have? Or is he an imperfect ally who actually wants to make things better for black people, but he holds certain biases on the inside that makes him say dumbass shit? Or is he actually a closeted racist? That could be true as well. From what she gave us, we do not know which of those three he is. All we know is that he is a bad person for having a whole future with. Because if you decide to have children, your children will be 1/4 or 1/8 black. So where does that one flow? Your children could come out like Meghan Markle's kids and look white as hell, but they will know their ancestry.
But then I got problems with her too, stupid. Because
hold on, Tracy. Let me answer this real quick. From what his statement to her was, you are just as you can pass for white. I'm just saying it verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
You can pass for white just like me, so you're just as privileged as I was.
And he said he was white.
That statement that he too was white, because he's saying you have the same features as I do.
No, he's
so
white.
You're just as privileged as I am. So stop trying to make yourself a victim as they.
Which is why I was saying he could be, because you got to remember how I view about allies, right? Allies aren't perfect. They're not you. Okay? So he very well could be one of those imperfect allies. He don't sound like the kind of dude you need to have a family with, but he could very well be one of those guys where he literally wants to do right, but he's been programmed with dumbass shit. And he says things like this. So I'm just confused at why the story didn't end with, I miss him.
Here's my thing. That's what makes me look at her sideways. We agree even about race. Okay, what is it that you agree about with race? Because if you
question it now,
it's like, wait a minute, but if you agree about race, you would know that she's black, and as a black woman, she's gonna have certain.
Tracy, I can speak to that. That's what I'm saying. They agreed upon race up until this particular moment.
But what was it? Were they talking about brown people, Asian people?
No,
what were
they could have been talking straight up about black people. Remember the context in which this happened, right? So that's why I'm saying, on the most generous take, he could be an imperfect ally, in that he's been doing all the right things. His intentions are all the right ways, but he himself has biases inside that he has not reconciled yet, right? So up until now, they could agree on housing reform. criminal justice reform. They could agree on reparations. They could agree on all of the policy issues that affect the Black community. They could be in lockstep on every last bit of that. Where it got messed up is where he has not fully reconciled. And they watched this movie that made them look at the Black experience in a different way. So when she, a white appearing woman, is sitting here talking about how horrible they treated her people, he, as a latte liberal, looks at it and be like, what the hell are you talking about?
You're white just like I'm white. What are you talking about?
You white every day of the week.
Yeah.
And this one day
you are white. But in this movie, now you want to talk about your people?
Because it could literally be a possibility that they do agree on the oppression of Black people.
Mm-hmm.
But in his mind, it's like
it wasn't that bad. It was
no. He could agree with that. It was that bad. It's that awful. You treat Black people wrong. Blah 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 blah. But he switched from her and looks at her and go, "What the hell are you talking about? You have never experienced that. Probably not even knowing if she experienced it or not. By the way, looks at her, seeing her fair skin and her looking white and going." You may know what the Black people are going through, but you don't feel every day what Black people go through.
Missing a really big part.
Yeah,
we don't know nothing about this woman.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Because she could have been masquerading.
Every day she identifies
as Black.
You don't have to like verbally say what you are. You walk in a certain manner. So if you walk in white privilege all the time, he's with you. He knows you. Okay, you walk in white privilege all the time, but now when we watching this movie, now you want to separate from me. Now I'm the evil oppressor, and you are the poor Black person. Okay, and then they start saying dumb shit
on the woman. So
why did it go so personal though?
Because and that's what I'm saying.
Why was he suddenly the master and she's suddenly the slave? Why?
Because those are the narratives that are immediately laid out for the Black and white dynamic. Because the number of abolitionists were always minuscule. And the number of abolitionists didn't grow until the very end when they were finally able to use some political power to push back hard enough and then get Lincoln and all those things. But the narrative is white slave owner and their legions and Black slave. Right? That's the overarching narrative. So he chose a side, assigned her a side, right? And I don't know if this is the case, but you got to understand how I look at these situations. I'm very pro-Black. I ain't got a whole lot of patience for white culture or any of that shit. Y'all know that. But if you're going to deal with somebody, you got to try to give them the space to either be right, wrong, or on their way. Right. So in his particular case, before I'll just completely toss his dumb ass out. If he said something like that to my sister, I got to handle it. But before I just toss him out, I try to figure out where's this cat really coming from. Right. So I think the relationship should be over because he basically just called you a bed wench. That's what he just did. He insulted your gender and your ethnicity.
Yeah.
At one shot. Right. But in his awkward way, he might be thinking, well, mathematically speaking, that's still better than if you actually look like you were Black.
And with that, folks, we are going into the second half. We're going to take a 3-minute
break.
Watch
get chopped up and it seemed like I said something crazy.
With that flag behind you. So we're going to reboot and refresh, and we will see you all on the other side. For Am I the A-Hole and Foxy's videos of the week. Please don't forget to hit that like button, and we will see you on the other side.